So we have been studying the latter limbs of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. And we started with the 5th limb, which is Pratyahara. Pratyahara, withdrawing from the senses. And then the 6th limb, which is Dharana, which means to focus, to concentrate, to hold your mind in one place. And then last week was the 7th limb, which is, Diana. So that means to meditate. But I like to break that one down a little bit more. So we really talked about the latter limbs of the yoga practice sort of being like the koshas of yoga as well, the sheaths of who we are, like the onion of ourselves. And this is moving us deeper in towards our internal self, which is what the 8 limbs of Ashtanga does as well. The latter limbs are the internal limbs. So that being said, it's really about us moving into a higher state of consciousness. So we talk about the koshas too, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha. The outer layers are a little more superficial, and we can live out there, you know. But as we move forward on our spiritual journey, we kind of move into those more internal layers of ourself, like Vijnanamaya kosha, right? Or this week we're going to talk about Anandamaya kosha. What's Ananda mean? Ananda means bliss, right? So Anandamaya kosha is moving to that layer that sits right before the soul, the Atman, is Anandamaya kosha, which again, it runs parallel with our latter limb. So we're on the 8th limb this week of the Ashtanga limb. So what's the 8th limb? Samadhi. And how do we translate Samadhi? Yeah, so Iyengar said it's challenging for us to even describe. It's unutterable peace and joy. So it's a little different from more of our situational peace and joy, right? Or happiness, where we're thinking, oh, you know, today I'm going to go and see my dear friend, and I love her so much, and we're going to have a picnic, and I'm so happy, we're having such a great time. Or then tomorrow, something difficult happens with the Shala, something breaks down, and I'm all bummed and depressed and stressed about the Shala, right? Those are more situational things that tend to bring us joy and stress and anger. But the idea of Samadhi is what? What is different about Samadhi? Yeah, it's not situational, right? It is this feeling of contentment within us that is not based on, you know, what's happening with our job or our relationships or whatever. And I know you've all had that experience before where you just felt so happy or so joyful, and it wasn't based on anything necessarily that was happening or not happening, but something deep within you that was very soulful. And when you have that experience, it's kind of hard to describe, you know? So for us, the idea is, I want to say to you that I feel like the internal limbs of the Ashtanga yoga practice moves us into this state of consciousness, a higher state of consciousness, a more mindful way of being. And the more that we practice being that way and doing that, the more we find ourselves in this true place of contentment and joy. You know, that's I kind of feel like it's the unexpected gift of the yoga practice. You know, like it's nothing that we come to our mats and chase after. I'm going to do my yoga practice and be really happy today, right? And yet you find when you do your practice every day, every month, every year, you notice how it does have this ability to shift and make us more happy, joyful people, you know, and less affected by the ups and downs of our living, you know, that's constant. So I always say when I look at what makes a person healthy, I feel like I look at a long list of, or all the different things that make us. We laugh on a regular basis. We have good energy. We have good muscle build. All these different things that make us healthy. I feel like one of the things for me that I always know I'm healthy is when I'm passionate about my life. When I have this kind of zest for life, or this feeling that I'm excited about who I'm with and what I do, and you know, all the little details of it. And that's really what Samadhi is part of, or Anandamaya Kosha, is that we have this beautiful excitement about who we are and what we're doing in this life. So again, the way we're going to get to that place without chasing it on our yoga mats is we're going to use a yoga breath. We're going to use our drishti, our gazing point. We're going to use our vinyasa and just be as present as possible doing our yoga practice. And our gift, when we least expect it, will be this beautiful feeling of joy and peace that'll be even hard to describe. So the quote for this week is by Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive and do that. What the world needs more is people that have come alive.